add with the same sign. Alicia's been getting dizzy when standing, so her doctor is conducting an orthostatic blood pressure test. First, her systolic blood pressure was 2 points lower than normal while laying down. When she sat up, her systolic blood pressure went down an additional 10 points. And when she stood up, her systolic blood pressure dropped 20 more points. What was Alicia's total systolic blood pressure change? And so to answer this, we are going to look at these 4 number lines in front of us to kind of give us a visualization of what's going on. So the first thing that happened was she dropped 2 points when she was laying down. So we're just going to draw an arrow that goes to the left to represent going negative, or the drop in blood pressure. And we're going to put a -2 in front. So we know we're going to the left, which is negative for us right now. Then we have another arrow to represent the 10 points. So we'll start at the same point, but this time we're going to draw a bigger arrow to represent -10. Then we dropped an additional 20 more points. So we'll draw the same point, and we're going to go to the left, 20 points. So this shows -20. And what we're asking is, what is Alicia's total systolic blood pressure change? So what we're going to do actually is add up all of these arrows to the left on one number line. So you can see on this number line we have -20, -10, and -2. And so if we add up all of these 3 points, we would get the total systolic blood pressure change. So what we can do right here is just to the side, we'll put 20 plus 10 plus 2. So let's add up all these together. So 0 plus 0 is 0 plus 2 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. Then, as we have a negative sign on all 3 numbers, we're going to put the negative sign right there to represent that this systolic blood pressure change dropped. So it's represented in this negative sign. So what we can also do is show this mathematically, as this is represented in, if we put a negative sign out in the front with a parentheses, then we're going to do the absolute value of -2, which gave us that +2 right here, plus absolute value of -10 is right there, plus the absolute value of -20, which is right there. Then we're going to close it on the parentheses, and then that negative sign in front is going to be what we did there by just adding it at the very end. So what we can do is add up all these numbers and then add the negative sign. Keep in mind this trick. So when we add up all the numbers that have the same sign, we can add up all the numbers together, and then we will keep the sign of the numbers. So in that first example, we kept the negative sign. So let's look at another example here. Brandon's being tested for having orthostatic hypotension. His laying down blood pressure is 1 low. When he sat up, his blood pressure dropped another 15 points. When he stood up, his blood pressure was only reduced by 8. So let us do the mathematical form of this. So we have that negative sign, and we have the absolute value of 1, even though we did drop. So we're going to do the -1 plus the absolute value of 15 points, and it's a drop. So if we're going to do negative plus additional 8 points was reduced. So we're going to go -8. So we have 1 plus 15 plus 8. So 1 plus 5 plus 8 is equal to 14. We'll carry that 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. So we have 24 points. So we have 24 inside the parentheses, then we have the negative sign. So it shows negative 24 points we have dropped. So let's look at one more example or two. So now let us add negative 1 plus negative 3. So we see that we have two numbers with the same sign. So we can also go like this. We can put the negative sign out in the front and take the absolute value of both. So this becomes 1 plus 3, which is equal to 4 inside the parentheses. But we have that negative sign because we want to keep the sign of the two numbers. So this is negative 4. Let's look at another example here. Add negative 6 minus 3. Now, if we go minus 3, it's the same as saying negative 6 plus negative 3. It's just two ways to write it differently. Now, we can do the same thing as we've done before. We can make these two numbers positive by taking the absolute value of both of them, put it inside a parentheses, and then we're going to add that negative sign to the outside. This is because we want to keep the sign of both these numbers. Because when we add two negative numbers, we're becoming more negative. So we have the negative sign, and then absolute value of 6 is 6 plus absolute value of negative 3 is 3. So we have this minus sign with a 9 inside of it, which is equal to negative 9. So this would be our final answer.